for the hug, right, Martha? Oh, my God. Good to see you. She is with her college roommate. Having fun. Yeah, I know. Yeah, good for you. Yes. Yeah, get out here, Diane. Yes. Where are you going? Your name again? Oh my gosh. Change of plans. Yeah, good for you, man.
Hello, come on, McGee.
Better late than never.
John has led our team, as you know, for the last quarter of a century, a journey which has led him to becoming the longest tenured head coach in Cape League history, along with being the winningest coach in Cape League history. During John's tenure, he's coached over 1,000 players, and the influence he's had on these players, his assistant coaches over the years, the league itself, the Chatham Athletic Association, and the town of Chatham is evident by the number of people that are here tonight to celebrate with him. So without further ado, I'll turn the microphone over to Mr. Ed Baird, Big Ed, former Chatham player, Cape Cod League Hall of Fame member, Chatham Athletic Association board member, and it's up to him to let the celebratory activities get underway. Here you go, Ed.
Thank you all for being here tonight. I hope you can bear with me. This is a very emotional evening for John, and it's a very emotional evening for me. As Steve indicated, I was lucky enough to play in Chatham back in 1965, 6, and 7. Best 3 summers of my life on Cape Cod and playing baseball. And after I graduated from UConn, and I started a family, I started a business career, and despite having so many fond memories about Cape Cod, everything was in the rearview mirror for a while. And it wasn't until, it stayed that way until early 2000s, when my friend George Greer, who was a teammate of mine here and a teammate of mine at UConn, George is the gentleman with the hat on the end. He invited us all to UConn for a tailgate prior to a football game. And 2 wonderful things happened to me at that. Number 1, I met the Schiffners. And they got me, as the years progressed, back involved with the Chatham Athletic Association and the league. That's something that's been very, very important to me. The fact that I grew apart from them for so many years, it's hard to understand how I let that happen, but I'm back in the fold now and loving every minute. So John and Martha, we thank you for that. But more importantly, when George introduced us, he planted the seed of a friendship that's blossomed since that time. And without a doubt, the friendship that I have with John and Martha is more than I could have ever imagined. So these people are very, very hospitable people, and I am honored to be able to partake in this ceremony today and sort of be the master of ceremonies. Now, what normally happens at a function, near the end, you always say we're going to save the best for last, but in this case, we're going to put the best first. And any team has to have more than one player, and in the Schiffner family, the team, John does the work on the field, but the real captain of that team is Martha Schiffner. Their house lovingly is known as Shea Schiffner. Doors are always open to anybody that's ever played in Chatham, anybody who's a friend of anybody that's ever played in Chatham. They're always welcome at the Schiffner household. Martha, without a doubt, is the reservation queen. She is the concierge. She is the maitre d', and she takes care of everyone. The house has also become known as third base. Third base meaning stop in on your way home. And it's very unusual when, especially during the season, when there isn't a whole house full of people that have been welcomed in by the Schiffners. So what we would like to do, although this night is really for John, it's just as much for Martha. We have a bunch of roses, Martha, that we would like to present you. Jack, could you bring them out here, please? $25 roses for 25 years to John. Thank you. It's fitting that tonight the opposition on the field is going to be the Harwich Mariners, because John started his baseball career on Cape Cod playing third base for the Mariners. Was it called the Mariners back then? It was. He played 3 summers there, and after a short stint in the minor leagues, he came back in 1977 to be a coach for the Mariners. And then after that, he was recruited to come to Chatham. And the person that recruited that for him was a coach at the time named Eddie Lyons. And for those of you who are longtime fans here at Chatham, Eddie Lyons is a revered, much respected coach who he mentored John and allowed John to grow into what has happened today. Unfortunately, Eddie's no longer with us, but I know that Eddie is up in heaven watching down tonight and proud, so proud of what John Schiffner has turned into. That was coaching in 78 to 82. The 82 team was a championship team, and there's a few fellows here today. Jeff Yoakum is here. Billy Cheslock was the coach on that 82 team. After 82, Schiff left and he became a scout for a few years. He then came back into baseball on a managerial job with the Atlantic Collegiate League. And in 1990, he was brought back by Rich Hill. Rich is here tonight as well. And it was in 1993 that Rich took a job as a collegiate coach on the West Coast, and he left in the middle of the season, and Schiff took over on an interim basis as a manager at the Chatham Anglers. 1994, the Chatham Athletic Association gave John the permanent position as manager of the team. In 1994 until today, John Schiffner has accumulated quite a record for Chatham baseball. All of those facts add up to these similar statistics. 34 years of coaching in the Cape League, 25 years as manager. John started the season with 519 regular season wins. He's got 20 this year, 539 at the present time. That included 16 playoff berths, 6 division titles, 2 league championships, more than 1,000 players that he's coached, 120 players that have made it to the major leagues, and 100 plus others who have either turned into a Major League Baseball coach, a scout, or something to do in the Major League Baseball administration. 39 first-round picks in Major League Baseball draft, have played under John Schiffner. All very impressive numbers, but none of those numbers mean as much to John as the players themselves, the coaches themselves. Winning is nice, but people learning and leading here, and if they end up going back to their colleges, a better ball player than when they got here, that's the important thing for John. The other thing he wants them to do is to have fun. After all, baseball is a game, and baseball games are supposed to have fun. He asks them to behave themselves. They're going to be here in front of a lot of scouts that are looking for their talent, but enjoy your summer, and that's always been John's philosophy. So all of that's wonderful. We all love him very much. 30 some odd, 39 players, #1 draft pick. And so I'm going to have now a couple other people who are here say a few words for you. #1 is going to be Paul Gallup, current commissioner of the Cape Cod Baseball League.
Thank you, Ed. I feel like it's halftime, and everybody now wants to go for beers and bathroom or something after a big Ed show. So thanks, Ed, for setting the table to levels that I can't achieve. There's so much to be said today, and so much more that we're going to forget. But Schiff, you can always tell a man's value by when people come out and celebrate what he's done. So just look around the field. They're all here for you. Many of you don't know it. Schiff and I go back to playing against each other in high school in North Jersey, early 70s, and we reconnected right here in 1980. So we've joked about writing a book that would be a tell-all and a bestseller, but most of you would never talk to us again. So the book won't be coming out. But I do have a couple of presentations I'd like to give to Schiff. So John, come on out here. Peter, would you assist me? Assisting me is former president of the Chatham A's, Peter Troy, and the first presentation is a commemorative bat to Coach John Schiffner, Chatham Anglers. The CCBL thanks you for 25 years of baseball excellence. And the second one is a commemorative plaque presented to John Schiffner in grateful recognition for your extraordinary dedication for 25 years as field manager in the Cape Cod Baseball League. Thanks, Schiff. Presented by the officers and directors of the Cape Cod Baseball League. Thanks a lot, Schiff. Appreciate all your service and friendship. Ed, back to you.
In 1993, it was Rich Hill who passed the baton on to John. Rich is here tonight, and we'd like to have him say a few words.
Thank you, guys. Thank you, Chef. 1990. I was 26 years old, and Bob Whalen recommended John Schiffner as to be our assistant coach here from California. No idea about this guy from the Northeast, and it obviously ended up to be the best move that we could make for those 3 years. I remember those good old days when Schiff was bouncing around in his Jeep coming down here. The thing I remember most about Schiff was his attitude. And attitude is everything, as we all know. Schiff had this infectious personality. Complimented me as a young coach who was a little intense at the time. 2-a-day practices, everything else. Schiff kept everything smooth sailing. And you know, the thing about being a head coach in Division I, that you want to send your players to a quality organization. Chatham A's, back in the day, it was called the Chatham A's, is the best on the Cape. The fans, Chatham Athletic Association, and the people of Chatham are number one. You guys are awesome. I remember some of the guys sitting right over there, George French and Jack Hammond and Joe Signori, the best in the Cape. Being a Division I head coach, I had an opportunity to send guys to Schiff. You guys remember Jermaine Clark, Matt Perkis, they helped you guys win in the '96 championship. We had Sammy Solis, Mike McCoy, and of course Chris Bryant, little guy, yeah, little one towards the end here. In closing, I'd like to say again, I heard the word influence, right? And that is all about Schiff, influence and impact. He's got 500 and something wins, but the impact and the influence he's had on young people, especially that 18 to 22-year-old male trying to find their way in the world. Nobody better than Coach Schiff to help guide them. He was great at instilling the belief that these young people, that you do not need to build a fence around what you can accomplish. Look at the hand he got from these players right here. Tonight, Chatham A's, the Chatham Anglers, right, have a chance to represent history. And this season, you guys have an opportunity to represent the people that have come before you. Nose down, banners up.
Well said, Rich. Thank you very much. On Schiff's coaching staff in the mid-'90s into the early 2000s was a gentleman on third base named Matt Fincher. As soon as you hear Matt's voice, you'll remember, run hard, run hard. And Matt is nice enough to join us today. He's current baseball coach at the University of South Carolina Upstate, formerly USC Spartanburg. So Matt, if you'd be kind enough to say a few words.
Thank you, Ed. All right, and thank you to the Chatham Anglers for allowing me to speak. First thing I'd like to do is say that it really warms the heart to see Peter, Troy, and Paul Gallup on this field, and thank you. All right. I also want to tell Martha, you know, we all know that Schiff didn't do this by himself, and many people here do know and others do not know how hard Martha has worked over the years. Martha, we love you. Thank you for all you do. Okay, as Ed said, their house is always open, and, you know, thank you. Okay, as for Schiff, I'm reminded of my father, and I wanted to tell you this little story. I asked my father one time, hey, when are you going to retire from the University of Georgia? He looked right through me and said, son, they're going to carry me out of there in a pine wood box. All right, and I always thought that we'd carry Schiff away from Veterans Field in a pine wood box. Okay, but fortunately, we're not going to have to do that. All right. You know, I got here in 1997. I wasn't in Chatham 2 days before I realized, you know, hey, this is a place I want to be. This is a good deal. This is a great place. All right. I was asked earlier today, you know, what makes Chatham Chatham, and there's a long answer to that. Oh, those of us that love Chatham know and understand. But for me personally, John Schiffner is Chatham. All right, I came here summer after summer. Yeah, 10 years, summer after summer, to be with Schiff. Dear friend, best friend in the world, all right? I mean, really, an honor and a privilege, Schiff. Thank you.
Also on Schiff's coaching staff for 7 years, I believe, was Pat McGee. And Pat has flown in and all the way from the West Coast to be here today. Pat?
Thank you. I want to say that coming out here every summer was always a special experience for what you got to be a part of with the community. But I myself lived a number of these years in the Schiffner household. And you could say putting up with me was a whole lot harder than 35 players. But they treated me as their own. They opened up their home to myself, my wife, my child, and it was a tremendous experience to get us to come out here for 2 different stints. And we love the community, we love the A's. John Schiffner opened up this opportunity to some kid from California, and ever since we've come out here as a family, we love the place, we love the community, and we've made it the place that we want to vacation, that we want to be a part of. But you can't come through here and appreciate anything more than what John Schiffner's done for our career, as a friendship, and the impact he's had on everyone else. And again, all baseball coaches know we're nothing without the support of a strong wife. And to see Martha always be in John's corner and help him through this process, it's been a special thing. So, Schiff, we love you. We're all here for you. We wish you the best in what comes next.
Just a couple more people. Matty Hyde, also on the coaching staff for a long time, is currently a scout for the New York Yankees. But Matty wanted to be here today despite the negativity that might emanate from the crowd.
Thanks, Ed. And as Reggie Jackson said, they don't boo nobodies. So, there we go. What an honor to be here tonight. And Schiff, I guess we knew this day was going to come at some point, but selfishly, I wish that this journey would have lasted forever. And what a legacy. You know, we hear about the wins and the championships and the first rounders and the great players, but the magic of you in the corner of this dugout is the fact that you always put the players first. And guys, you know that. He puts you first, and he cares about you. And that's the special legacy that you will ever have. And as we get to the close here, I want you to know that you won. You've won. Your legacy forever silences those critics who scoffed that a high school coach could be the skipper for the Chatham A's. Your inspiration continues to influence this game, and you and Martha have been such a big part of that. All of us who have gone on, not just the big leaguers, but the people who have been in baseball and done other things in life. It's a wonderful legacy. And I know that that number 15 was worn by a guy who played on this field a long time ago and went on to a great career with the Yankees, Thurman Munson. And I know that he's looking down today because I know his influence is still a big part of this field. And he's proud of you, and Eddie Lyons is proud of you, and Fred Ebbett are proud of you. But most of all, we're proud of you, and we love you.
We'd be very remiss if we didn't ask our visitors tonight if they have somebody that might like to say a few words. Steve Englert, a man who's never without any words, not to say.
Hey, Chef. When Schiff told me a couple of weeks ago that he was stepping down, I was speechless. And the first thought I had, I said, man, the bourbon sale's going to go way down on the Cape now. But I competed against Schiff. We coached against Gisela for 20 years, over a couple hundred games. And I'll tell you, every team he's brought in, he's done the right thing. Players, quality players, class acts, and they always went out and played hard and competed each and every night, and they had fun doing it. And it's always a pleasure coming over here and playing against you guys. And again, he's done the same thing again this year. Even his coaching staff he's brought in over the years, tremendous people. And the best thing I've got out of this whole thing is I developed a friendship. So thanks, Schiff, and congratulations to you, and I wish you the best of luck, my friend.
Thank everyone for your patience. Thank everyone for your attention, particularly the Harwich Mariners. Thanks, guys. We just have two more gifts we'd like to give Schiff. So, Schiff, could you step out here, please? We have a bat that's being donated to John by the players. They've all signed it. For those of you who happen to read the Boston Globe, January 19th, there was an article about Schiff in the Boston Globe, and they were nice enough to put it into a plaque. And if you haven't read about John, you got to read this story. It's a wonderful presentation and summation of his career. And one last thing, this is a gift to John for 25 years of service to the Athletic Association. Hopefully he'll be able to use this he and Martha can go and do whatever they want and have a good time and enjoy a life away from the busyness of the baseball season. Thank you. John, would you like to say a few words?
I've said the last few weeks that some things are indescribable and it's very difficult to say what you want to say, but I do want to say thank you to a lot of people, especially the ones that are in front of me, but I just want to read a few things. A long time ago, a man said that today was the luckiest day of his life. Well, today's mine. Lou Gehrig said that many years ago, and I say today, this is the luckiest day of my life to be in front of you people and you people right here. I cannot thank you enough for making this day so special. I'd like to thank the present field crew, Rob Bono and his gang, for painting 15 down here and shift 25 there. That's pretty special. I thank you. I'd like to thank the town of Chatham for the 34 years they allowed me to be their coach of their team and to be part of the Chatham community, which I like to portray and tell these players and the players before them about the Chatham experience. It's Chatham that got these players here. It's Chatham that got me this job, and I cannot thank the town for that. Thank you so much. I'd like to thank the Chatham Athletic Association for believing in me 25 years ago and giving a high school coach a chance to coach in the Cape Cod League. I'd like to thank the host families. You are the core of all of these franchises, and can't thank you enough, and all of the volunteers who volunteered for Chatham especially. Thank you very much. You've also heard how important Martha has been. The sacrifices she's made for all these years for opening up that home and the people that come through those doors. There have been people who have come into our house we never saw. They came in after we went to bed and they got up before we got up, but they were there. That's what it was like at Shea Schiffner or the third base. Thank you, Martha, for allowing that. It's made things so much easier. I'd like to thank you fans who are here tonight and who have been here for all those years. People who you could set your watch sometimes to people. I could wake up out of a coma and it's July 24th and there's somebody I know. I'll know it's July 24th because they come July 24th every year for the last 25 years. The loyalty of these fans, you fans, is fantastic. I cannot thank you enough. I have been blessed all these years with some of the most unbelievable coaching staffs. And I'm so happy that some of those guys are here tonight because without good coaches, you can't be a good coach. And these guys have been fantastic, and I just wish they all could be here to celebrate all the 25 years. I have had an amazing group of coaches, and I can't thank them enough. I can't thank the players. They say that I've coached 1,000. Oh my God, I can't believe it's that many, but maybe it is. But I can't thank all of those players all of these years for their dedication, their hard work, coming to Cape Cod, doing something that they love to do, and watching them grow. Whether they made it to the big leagues or not, watching them grow and watching them come back. As you can see, there's players here who did make it to the big leagues and who did not, and that's special to me. I can't thank the players enough. And I really think this is a special group of players right here in front of me. This year's team is pretty special, and they've been unbelievable, just so much fun to be around. To the people here in front of me, thank you for standing up for me. Thank you for being here. Thank you for being my friends. Thank you for just, it's been a great ride, and I'm glad you're all part of it. Thank you so much. Steve and the Mariners, thank you for your patience. I appreciate it. I know you guys have had a great time with Steve. I had a hell of a time in Harwich. Harwich got me to Cape Cod. It led me to come to Chatham. And I thank the town of Harwich and you guys for your patience tonight. One last thing, and we'll get ready to go here. It's going to be tough to say this, but I thank God every day He let me be a Chatham A. Thank you very much.
There's a man that's dearly loved by all and is going to be missed by many, many more than that. I would just like, in closing, to acknowledge one more group that's here. No direct involvement with Schiff on a coaching basis, but each of us are very dear friends with Schiff. And our 1967 championship team, there's several members here tonight celebrating our 50th anniversary. So I was on that team. Greer on the end was on that team. And next to Billy Cheslock, who was a coach on the 80 team, is Steve Saradnik. So it's been a wonderful night. Thanks to everybody. John Schiffner and Martha Schiffner, I love you.
So all of a sudden I've got this summer vacation that was unplanned. So it's actually, no, hey, it's great. Congratulations. Yeah, first free summer in 15 years. So, exactly. My wife's parents have a kids, so they had actually in Boston, so they had an all-year-round staff here. Okay. Get over there. I get to join them. Okay. 24 hours notice, we're in the place. Great job. Yeah. My name right now. We on it. Yeah, we love it here. Nice to be with you.
Hey, Paul, how you doing? I'm Casey.
Hey, Casey, good to see you. Yeah, I'll see you on Tuesday.
Yeah, Tuesday? All right, perfect. Thank you.